And we're going to go ahead and jump right in with the effective study method number 6, which is reading forums. This is probably the least overall effective study method. It's good for giving you an idea on how other players think, but the good advice, bad advice ratio usually leaves something to be desired. There is a lot of good advice on really big forums. The problem is it's very difficult to tell what good advice is and bad advice is if you're a new player, and the bad advice usually outnumbers the good advice by a decently wide margin. So that's a big problem. It's also extremely easy to get lazy and just end up browsing the internet rather than work hard on actually getting better. Especially on other really big forums, there'll often be threads that are just sort of like fun threads to click on where you don't really learn anything. It's very easy to get distracted with gossip and not actually improve your game. This method can be useful if special precautions are taken. Make sure you're actually studying while doing this. Be focused with no distractions. If you're doing a bunch of other things on the internet while browsing 2+2, you're not going to get a lot out of it. If you're actually reading like CardRunner forums and just reading, if you're posting your own threads, you're posting on other people's threads, you're looking to see when people disagree with you, then you're probably actually getting a lot from it. Look for posts by players you know and respect and are willing to admit when they don't know something or are pretty confident. Don't just listen to whoever sounds the most confident. Tons of people post like they are very confident and have little idea of what they are doing. So one thing that's kind of unfortunate is usually when someone recommends a line that seems really bad to you, if you know it's a really good player, you should at least stop and think, okay, maybe I'm wrong here since I think that line's really bad, or maybe it's somewhere in between. So for example, if I think it's an easy fold and he thinks it's an easy call, maybe it's a really close fold or it's a really close call. So you want to look for players that you know and think are good, because then when they give advice that you think is really weird, it will make you stop and think. You can't just stop and think every time someone posts what looks like a dumb line, because chances are it's actually a stupid line. So you need to sort of single out who the good players are and then go out of your way to try to read and really think on their post. A lot of people try to post super confident just because they want attention or they want to, tell other people they're wrong and they're such a great player. So don't just think people who are confident know what they're doing. It's unfortunate because it's a very useful tool for players to explain when they're confident or when they're unsure, but there are some people that just always post like they're confident, and if they're not really good players, you really want to avoid them. This is a great way to make friends and become part of a community, so it does have its advantages. Just be careful and don't rely too much on this method. So, you can definitely read forums and you can learn a lot from them, but make sure you're doing it the right way, and don't mistake for killing an hour browsing the internet for actually studying. If you're going to actually study, then actually do it. Study groups are usually made from the forums as well, so if you never go on the forums, it's going to be harder to meet people. Effective study method number 7, hiring a coach. Coaches give you access to players better than you who are trying to help your specific game. Pretty much no other way to learn any subject faster than by using a private tutor. In order to hire a coach who is better than you by enough to greatly benefit from it, it's usually quite expensive. So, while there's usually going to be a lot of different ways you can learn a subject, in general, someone that's a lot better than you, giving you one-on-one attention, is the quickest way to learn a subject. So even if there's a really good chemistry program or chemistry book that helps you learn chemistry really well, if you're using that book and that program in addition to a private tutor, you'll probably learn the subject fastest, and a coach can help you, or a tutor can help you find mistakes in your thought process that you can't find on your own very quickly. So this is obviously incredibly beneficial. Variance is insane, and many coaches are not good. Note to future Janda, show a variance generator. Okay, so I'll do that in 1 second. And then the last point I wanted to make is if you're hiring a coach that's decently better than you, it's probably going to be quite expensive relative to your bankroll. If you're not hiring someone that's decently better than you, then try to shop around and find out if you can, make a poker friend that will exchange sweat sessions, or, you give him some information, he gives you some information. If he's around your skill level, try to, he helps you and you help him, and do it for free. So if you are hiring a coach, make sure he's quite a lot better than you.